Hi, everyone. I hope you're doing great on this Monday. We had a wonderful holiday weekend. Ate some fabulous peanut butter Easter eggs. They're like my favorite. But today I wanted to talk to you about 4 ways that busy CEOs can rest. And it's not going to be 4 ways that you typically hear. Oftentimes, CEOs are really adverse to resting. They're like, don't have time, they're too busy. They think resting is non productive. And however, many studies have shown that the most famous people in history only worked 4 to 5 hours a day. Like, can you imagine? Doesn't that sound bliss? So, hi, those of you who don't know me, I am Audrey Faust, a visionary business growth strategist. And I come on here every Monday around lunchtime and talk to you and give you some tips about some great things I've learned that you can implement yourself. So, today I wanted to talk about 4 ways that you can rest as a busy CEO. And I've recently read a book called Rest that was recommended to me. And in this book, by Alex Pang, he lists so many people in history who only worked 4 to 5 hours a day and were some of the smartest, top performing people in history. And after reading this book, I started looking at my life and CEOs' lives that I coach differently. And a lot of times you might think of resting as binge watching your Netflix series, but that's not what this book is about. And it's not really what I'm talking about today. Although it is fun every occasion to binge watch a Netflix series, there are other ways you can actively rest in order to be at your best performance. And they're not the ways you might think. So I've been talking today about 4 different ways that you can actively rest and the benefits of those. So number 1 is exercise. And you might think that exercise is not really resting at all, right? But it's actually resting your brain. Since we live in a world where the muscle we use the most in our daily lives is the brain, exercising physically gives our brain a break and lets our body take over. So actively resting by exercising is resting, and it gives the brain a break and gives you a break. And it also has so many other benefits like releasing endorphins and making us feel good, healthier. Similar thing, number 2 is walking. And, you don't have to brisk walk. You can just casually walk. This could mean going for a walk by yourself, or this could mean having a walking meeting. Just walking increases the brain function and helps stimulate creativity, innovation, and memory. Not to mention the health benefits of walking. Walking 30 minutes a day reduces the risk of getting cancer or heart disease. So what if you had a daily 30-minute walking meeting with not only is it going to be good for you, it's going to be good for your employees too. It's going to make everybody's mood better. And it's going to relieve stress for the whole team. So think about implementing some walking meetings. And you can do this through Zoom. It's easy. Just to have everybody put their headphones on and go for a walk, and you walk and meet at the same time. If you are have the capability of where you're remote and you're not working in the building, as many companies have got, you can still do walking meetings. Number 3 is detaching from work. And so often with smartphones and technology we have today, we don't detach, right? We are available 24/7 to whoever needs it. But these lovely guys have a button on there under settings called Do Not Disturb. And that is a wonderful gift. Or you can use, Do Not Disturb allows your favorites to come through, but nobody else. So if you're worried about your kid calling or something like that, an urgent thing, if you have them set up in your favorites, then they're still going to be able to get through. But, oftentimes we don't give ourselves that time we used to have before technology, before phones. When we left our job at work. When we left our company, we came home and we had a life. But with technology now, we are always on 24/7. And we don't give ourselves time to simply rest or just shut down. And often I'll hear, but Audrey, I'm a CEO. I can't do this. I have to be available all the time. You don't. Because chances are, if you're not available, whoever it is that thinks they need you will figure it out themselves. And what a great leadership tactic, right? Having your employees try to figure out something themselves while you're on Do Not Disturb. Isn't that great? Try it. Number 4, I want to talk about is self-care. And whatever this looks like to you, maybe it's golf, maybe it's reading a book, maybe it's a massage, but do it with your technology off. Be sure to fill your cup back up, because we cannot give from an empty cup. We have to give back to ourselves if we want to show up the best and brightest and happiest, fullest person to our employees, to our staff. It requires us to fill up our own cups and not be constantly giving. Because eventually, what's going to happen is you're going to burn out. And eventually that cup is just going to be empty. And you're not going to be able to fill it back up again. So I have a client I've been working with who we've been instituting some boundaries and some self-care because she has not been able to do this herself. So I've been working on some tactics with her around boundaries and self-care. And she actually came up with a great idea. So I was explaining to her what fill up your cup means, self-care items, make sure you're doing things for yourself, whether it's just taking out 30 minutes a day to read or journal or do whatever, something for yourself, for nobody else but yourself. So what she did, which I thought was a fabulous idea, was she took it literal. She took a red Solo cup and some Post-it notes. And every time she did something for herself, she would fold up the Post-it note and put it in the cup. So she could see herself filling up her cup, right? And she put it in a place in her home where she would see it on a regular basis. So it would also function as a reminder to fill up her cup. Nobody knew what it was in her home. Nobody knew what it was for. But I thought this was a great idea. I thought it was awesome. And I think it's an awesome practice to institute, to remember to fill up your cup with self-care and detaching from work. And really, everything above, everything I'm talking about above, is all about setting boundaries for yourself. We live in a world now where a lot of us are working remote. A lot of us feel like we have to be available 24/7 for the privilege to work remote. And we also need to set boundaries because we can't keep giving and giving and giving and giving. And if you're a CEO, you really got to set boundaries for yourself and for your staff, or burning out is inevitable if you don't. It really is. And life is too short not to enjoy it along the way. By setting boundaries, you get to enjoy your life along the way and not just be waiting for it to get somewhere, whether it be retirement. I'll do that when I'm retired. I'll do that, when I'm, sell the business or whatever. So let me tell you a little story about my mother. The week before she was going to retire, she was diagnosed with cancer. And she had always said, oh, well, she'll travel when she retires, and she'll do this when she retires, and she'll do that when she retires. Well, guess what? That didn't get to happen because she was diagnosed with cancer literally 1 week before she retired. And this is why I am so adamant about living the way I want to live my life right now. Setting boundaries, doing things for self-care, and not waiting until I retire, right? I can do that when I retire. That's not my motto anymore, because who knows if I'm going to be able to get there, right? So I am a high achiever, and I would work 7 days a week if I didn't stop myself 24/7. And I know there are many CEOs like me out there. Many of you are just like me. So I'm coming on today to remind you, because I need this reminder myself often, is to take time out for you and make sure you rest. Make sure you rest. And you can act, like I said, actively rest, exercise, walking, just detaching from work. Do not disturb on your phone. And self-care. Simple 4 things. And it's all around setting boundaries so you can allow yourself to do that. And if you need some help, I'm happy to help. So reach out to me and let's chat and figure out how we can help you rest. Thanks a lot for watching today, and I'll be talking to you next week. Have a great rest of your week, and remember, schedule some of that rest in your week this week.